Well, thank you everyone for being here. We are talking about venture capital in the age of Web3. It should be a very interesting panel. I'm with a bunch of veterans who have also invested in projects like The Graph. I am Chjango, and I'm part of the Cosmos ecosystem and a early contributor of Cosmos, building the community back in the day. I'm now working on Osmosis, which is the Cosmos DEX. So if you guys have any questions about that, you could ask me about that. And also run a podcast and validator called Interchain FM. You should listen to that if you want Web3 Alpha. And I run a foundation called the Decentralized Web Foundation. So, but please, let's do intros from left to right.
Sure. So my name is Ali Sheikh. I work for Reciprocal Ventures. We are the Graph's favorite investor, so I've heard. So we are a venture firm focused on crypto, and we invest across the stack for crypto.
Great. Jeff founded Chapter One Ventures. We also were investors in the Graph early on, and our mission is to make crypto more usable and user-friendly. So we invest a lot at the application layer, but really excited to be here, and thank you for all joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me. My name is Jake Brukhman. I'm the founder and CEO of CoinFund. We're a blockchain-focused investment firm since 2015. Have something like 150 crypto portfolio projects, and super excited about where we are today in the space.
Hey guys, this is Jen from Republic. I was advisor since 2018, and we are actually an equity crowdfunding platform. We started from there, and then we also devoted ourselves into initial coin offering and in a regulated way. The mission is, of course, like empower individuals financially and ideology-wise as well. So yes, we are a supporter of like layer 1, layer 2, privacy stacks, and pretty much everything, and also dApps and stuff. But yeah, I'm a gaming-focused person, so yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys. So I think what we can all agree on is there's no single cohesive definition for what Web3 is, and the word has been sort of diluted to mean just general crypto. So I think, we should create a baseline, right? How do you guys define Web3?
Yeah, sure. So for us, like as you said, the definition of Web3 has really changed throughout the year. And so when we think about Web3, really what we focus on is we believe it's the infrastructure that's really building this decentralized web. So whether that's protocols, whether that's standards, whether it's the tech stack that all enable Web3. And really the end goal of that is, one of the end goals of this is, and why it's so powerful is that we see this as like the unbundling of the centralized like cloud services that we have today. And so that's where it becomes like super fascinating, because if you've looked at, the past 15 years, we have seen this situation where there's like this oligopoly of these like centralized cloud services that, a lot, initially what it offered was cloud and compute, but now you're seeing this oligopoly like basically seep into like every single Web2 primitive that exists today. And where we see Web3 coming in is really, again, the unbundling of this oligopoly that exists and really making things more decentralized. And whether it's, rebuilding or just focusing on like these individual protocols. And the benefit of that is two things, right? Kind of breaks the price controls that exist in an oligopolistic nature. But more importantly, it also reduces platform risk. And so that's why we're so bullish on Web3 and really excited about what the future holds for this industry.
Great definition. I think for us, we really think about the end user and incentive structures. So just the, Web2, as you mentioned, was basically dominated by 5 companies. And now we have finally an internet that's owned by the users. So all of your on-chain contributions can create actual value to the networks and applications that you care most about. And we think a lot about the user lifecycle, and in Web2, when you churn as a user, there's zero value accrued to you if you were a valuable contributor for years and years. Whereas in Web3, like we think of like happy churn, like you churn and you added value to the network, and ideally you are able to profit from that in terms of your contributions. So yeah, it's a really exciting time. I think of it as being more of an upgrade to the internet, unless I think it's very divisive when we're like Web 2 versus Web 3. It's definitely the most exciting place to invest right now.
As an engineer and an investor, I tend to think of Web3 in a technical sense. To me, Web3 is the stack of protocols and frameworks and standards that allow people to build decentralized applications. And at the bottom of the stack, there tends to be kind of the core services. Those are storage and computation. In the middle of the stack, there tends to be middleware. Kind of, I think of the graph as middleware. It's helping developers to index data on chain. There are other networks as well, like the Ceramic network, which is middleware that helps people store kind of business level data in a decentralized way. There's many other services that you can think of in that area. And a little bit further up the stack, there's kind of an aggregation layer. You guys mentioned AWS, right? If you open up an AWS panel, you see storage, you see computation, you see a database service, you see a Lambda service, and so forth. And I think over time, Web3 services will also start to compete with every level of those kinds of services. I call that DWS, decentralized web services. And then of course, on top of that whole stack, you can build dApps. This is the original sort of vision of Ethereum from 2015. And we're just starting now to see applications that are truly decentralized. We're starting to see things like Mirror.xyz, which is creating kind of a Substack, but where all the data lives in a decentralized network. Recently, we might have seen Orbis.club, which is kind of a decentralized Twitter built on the Ceramic network. And so full decentralization means it's not just that your smart contracts live on a blockchain somewhere, but it's also that your website and interface are launched to a decentralized network. The domain name upon which it lives is also a decentralized network. And the payment system that everybody uses to interact with this app lives in Web3 as well. So that's kind of my technical definition of what it is.
Yeah, for sure. I think the composability part is the most fascinating on the Web3. And for me, my favorite way to put it together, what is Web3 is, Web1 is you platform create content, platform earn money, and Web2 is you create content, normal people as mass create content and platform earn money. But then Web3 is the mass create content, the mass earn money. So that's more straightforward. And this is more from the social economic standpoint, but that's my understanding.
Mm-hmm. And just to add to Jake's definition of Web3, decentralized naming would be at a primitive of that entire stack. And so, if you think that your unique identifier, if you think of it as an NFT, then why couldn't your NFT act as your social handle in the future that gives you access into this Web3 world? Anyway, that would just be my thought. Given this framework about what Web3 is, how does this inform how you guys invest as VCs?
Yeah, so for Reciprocal Ventures, so we're a thesis and research-driven firm. So a lot of times what we'll do is, debate and figure out what are the most interesting trends that we really align with and believe will be the future for Web3. As a whole, we believe that, Web3 will be the next internet paradigm. So we're super excited about it. We invest across the stack. So everything from layer 1, sometimes, some people also have layer 0, but everything from layer 1s all the way up until applications is really open to us. But some of the categories that we focus on include infrastructure, decentralized finance, as well as Web3 applications. Companies like the Graph become super exciting and relevant for us. We were a seed investor in the Graph, and we're continuously supporting it as well. So for us, we've made a bet on Web3 early on, back in 2016, 2017, and we've held that thesis. And so for us, It's just a lot about, coming up with new thesis that we see developing throughout the ecosystem, and then finding opportunities that fit with our thesis, and then being able to invest in those theses. So that's a lot how we like express our, really like our interest in Web3 is through making investments that we believe will really help grow this ecosystem.
Yeah, for us, I mentioned accessibility is the main focus, and we find it pretty shocking how little we do on our phones to interact with crypto. So I would say a huge focus for us is just things that make crypto a larger part of our everyday lives, and knowing there are a lot of applications being built, but most of them are desktop. So we're trying to figure out what, I guess like the current stats in crypto are pretty, like we're still very early when you look at daily or monthly active traders on OpenSea being like 500,000 monthly active traders. I think MetaMask has about 30 million active wallets. Like we're very, very early, so we're kind of searching for those next breakthroughs that will really take crypto to the mass market. I think we're seeing hints of that right now, but I think we'll look back on this day, hopefully in a couple of years, and this will all feel like very early still. And if you've worked in kind of mass market consumer social, these numbers are very small still.
Yeah, I would say, just following up on my like stack analogy, I would say like the lower parts of the stack, they tend to have, storage computation tends to be fewer players, tend to be like more stable. IPFS is a routing protocol for decentralized storage. The middleware layer tends to be more like diverse and varied, and there's like more players. And then like the application layer on top is like really diverse. This is where founders are taking applications to market. There's many founders that work on the same problem, like for example, whatever it might be, NFT, indexing or metadata, or like a decentralized social networking app. And so kind of like the higher you go up in the stack, the more almost like challenging it becomes as an investor to pick the right winning things, and the things that are lower in the stack are more foundational. They're less likely to kind of wholesale get wiped out. But what is the overall thesis that we're investing in here? Well, I think it's at CoinFund we think of it as a thesis built around the decentralized network. This idea that you can create applications that live on services that are open, public, permissionless, global. And probably most importantly, like owned by the users, right? Really think of decentralized networks as a new model for sustainable, like corruption-resistant public goods. And you've talked a lot about that in his keynote. And I think that's, when people ask me, like, what is it about blockchain that you think is really transformative? It's not really payments, and it's not really like bank settlement technology. It's our ability to create new models of coordination.
Yeah, inspired by you actually. We actually did support all the layer ones like Solana, Avalanche, and so we are chain agnostic, and we want to be as open as possible because diversity is always the focus for Republic. We want to give more opportunity for founders in color, women founder, and founder in those minor far areas. And so that's also the whole thesis about crypto, right? Like giving access, the openness, and that's the foundational drive for us. And of course, everything we do, we all want to support when we invest in a wallet and we have millions of users, and we want that wallet to plug in our website to actually onboard the user on the product. So that's the thesis driving around us. We focus on adoption, and our product is a gateway for those newer projects as the 0 to 1 adoption cases. And then, yeah, for sure, later on, we actually supported TikTok of India, like Chjango, and I invested in StepN, which is, I always wanted a running app, right? Because we, at the end of the day, just as you said, Ethereum, the intention is for making dApps. And now after Axie, StepN, we see that the adoption is actually happening versus in 2017-18, there's a lot of speculation and intention of the founder were not right. But now we see many experienced Web 2 founders are coming in the space, especially in China as well. It's so interesting because I was physically in China past 2 years. And so normally monopolies are taking the whole market share, right? It's so hard for a Web 2 company to build like groundbreaking, like TikTok is like, or TikTok or Snapchat, they break through out of all those monopolies. It's like not easy, but I guess like I was hoping that more and more Web3 social apps and dApps can come out in this way because of the breakthrough monopoly thing, and also same with the game licensing situation in China. No one will get licensed outside of Tencent and NetEase, so that's why a lot of game developers, they have to get into Web3. So really exciting times, yeah.
Very cool. Using technology to circumvent the man. I love it. This is what blockchain technology is about. It's about subversion and giving power back to the people. Okay, we've got 5 minutes left, and I'm gonna spend it asking you guys about what sorts of advice do you have as investors to give to people, given that it is a bear market, because there's lots of people who are in pain. They don't know what to do, given that a lot of their money has gone down like 50%. So what's your all-weather strategy?
Yeah, so for us, we've been through bear markets before, not only in the crypto bear markets, but also like the financial bear markets. So for us, it's a very exciting time because we are seeing builders in the space continuing to build. We are seeing the crypto traction. We are seeing people starting to adopt more and more crypto. And so it's a very exciting time for us, and we're doubling down. So we haven't slowed down investments. If anything, we've actually started picking up, making seed investments in Series A, seed rounds. It's something like, we're very excited about. We're also helping a lot of our founders and portfolio companies navigate this bear market, given our, experience with previous bear markets and really what to focus on. And I'll add another tidbit is like our DECA unicorn investments that are part of our fund were actually found in previous bear markets. So that includes the Graph, Blockdaemon, Solana. Like these were all companies that we invested in during bear markets, and we didn't find them during the bull market. We didn't find them during the hype. It's really times like this where you find founders, you find builders, you find companies and teams who are heads down building, trying to like take out the noise and not focusing on really what's going on, but really focusing on what the future can hold. And that's what makes us like super excited about finding people who are able to do that, finding people who, are just passionate about what they're building and really believe in their vision. And so for us, it's like super exciting. We are continuously investing, we're doubling down, and really excited about what companies we get to meet during this time period.
I would also echo it. So a lot of the companies that you look at today raised bridge rounds in 2018, and a lot of really smart investors did not participate in those bridge rounds and regret it today. So I think a lot of us have learned that lesson firsthand. As a builder, I would just say I have a really flexible mindset in regards to fundraising. I'm seeing a lot of founders kind of adjust their fundraising plans, and you go into a process with some number in mind or valuation. So I'd say just be open-minded and really figure out ways to control your own destiny. All this like company building, while complicated, is often more simple than we think. It's really about finding a customer problem and solving a problem for an end user, and really finding actual traction. And I think traction right now, as mentioned, is real in crypto. Like we have usable applications, we have excited end users. So really just focus on building great products, and yeah, we're super active right now too.
Yeah, at CoinFund, we talk to our institutional investors like almost every day, and it's certainly true that institutional folks are prognosticating, kind of a lot of volatility in the macro environment, and they're also sort of mapping that to crypto because they see kind of correlations between some of the macro environment and high cap crypto assets. But actually, like if you look at NFT volume hasn't really gone down that much. It's been pretty resilient. If you look around the space, I'm sure you can find a portfolio of assets that's still pretty uncorrelated with macro. And the other thing to say is I work mostly on the early stage venture side. We just did permissionless. We're all here at Graph Day, right? It doesn't really feel like a bear market. There's more investors than ever. There's more founders than ever. There's more infrastructure than ever to start taking things to market. As you mentioned, there's a lot of Web2 founders coming in for sure. And some of the reasons that they're comfortable coming in now is because they're seeing sort of new and traditional like venture capital started to take the crypto space a lot more seriously. So I don't see like valuations going down in private equity markets and early stage. And I see like a lot of opportunity to start taking some of these Web3 products to market.
Yeah, it might take some time to let the valuation go down, and there's still mismatch of the secondary and the primary market. And yes, for sure, that's how we met, right, during bear market, like 2018, 19. And yeah, like back then, Axie folks and Sandbox folks and OpenSea folks, right? We were just all together and talk about play to earn, and that was 2019 early. So fancy things happen in bear market. Yeah.
Yeah, and we are out of time. Thank you guys so much for your insights. It was wonderful. You guys are the true believers, so may the force be with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.